Welcome to Trending Unpacked. Today we're going to pull apart the immense buzz around Marvel's Fantastic Four reboot, slated for 2025. You've shared a stack of articles, research, and your own keen observations with us, and our mission today is to sift through all that, extracting the most important insights and maybe a few surprises to give you a truly informed perspective on why this film is dominating conversations. It's sparking both wild excitement and, a cautious trepidation across the internet. You might be feeling that familiar Marvel fatigue after a few years. I sort of am sometimes. But this particular announcement seems to have reignited a spark for many. What makes this one truly different? And, well, why are we all paying attention?
Yeah, it's true. The buzz surrounding the Fantastic Four, it isn't just a ripple. It feels like a genuine groundswell, doesn't it? In the sources you've provided, it's really clear there's this collective sense that while superhero fatigue is, real and frequently discussed.
Oh, yeah, definitely a thing.
Right. But this particular project seems to cut through that noise with surprising force. The Fantastic Four occupies this almost mythic, unique space within the broader Marvel Cinematic Universe context. For so long, they've been this long-anticipated, almost foundational missing piece. It feels like they should have been there from the start, almost.
Exactly. Like, where have they been all this time?
Precisely. And what we're witnessing now is this incredible convergence, a deep nostalgia for the core characters and their comic book legacy, paired with a tangible, fresh potential that Marvel Studios can finally deliver the definitive big-screen adaptation these characters deserve. That powerful blend is, I think, precisely what's igniting this conversation right now.
You've really set the stage for why this is such a moment. And I think to truly appreciate its significance, we really have to look back at their incredible legacy, starting with their origins as Marvel's first family, right?
Yeah.
As many of the articles you sent highlight, this isn't just some cute nickname they picked up.
Not at all.
These characters have such a rich, deep history that quite literally laid the groundwork for the entire Marvel Comics universe as we know it. They burst onto the scene way back in 1961.
Lee and Kirby. The legends.
Absolutely. Brought to life by that legendary duo, writer Stan Lee and artist Jack Kirby. And their stories, right from that very first issue, they were revolutionary, weren't they? They weren't just about costume heroes punching villains. They were this incredible pioneering mix of like hard science fiction, grand cosmic adventure.
And the family drama. Can't forget that.
And critically, yes, that deeply personal family drama. It was a template that Marvel would build its entire storytelling philosophy upon, focusing just as much on the relationships, the internal struggles, and the very human fallibilities of its heroes as on their extraordinary powers.
Absolutely. The Fantastic Four truly broke the mold back then. When Lee and Kirby created them, they deliberately moved away from the stoic, godlike heroes of previous eras. Here were four individuals, Reed, Sue, Johnny, and Ben, who acquired these incredible powers, but were still very much flawed, relatable people.
Right, living in an apartment, arguing.
Exactly. They lived in a normal apartment on Yancey Street, argued over bills, faced everyday domestic squabbles alongside battling, cosmic threats. This grounded familial approach, even amidst traversing the negative zone or facing down Galactus, it resonated so deeply. It humanized superheroes in a way that really set Marvel apart, making their struggles feel incredibly real and their triumphs all the more meaningful. This unique blend of domesticity and cosmic grandeur forged this unbreakable, enduring legacy that defines Marvel to this day.
But okay, their journey to the big screen. It's been, well, let's put it politely, a notoriously challenging track record.
Yeah, that's one way to put it, yeah.
From the research you've compiled, what can you tell us about those earlier attempts? Why do you think they never quite captured that magic you just described?
Indeed, their cinematic history is quite a journey and perhaps more of a cautionary tale than a triumphant saga, as you said. The first significant attempts came with the Tim Story-directed films, Fantastic Four in 2005.
Right, with Chris Evans' pre-cap.
That's the one. And its sequel, Rise of the Silver Surfer in 2007, they achieved, modest box office returns, but critically, their reception was quite mixed. Many critics and fans felt they didn't fully capture that unique blend of adventure, scientific wonder, and profound family dynamics that defines the comics.
They felt a bit light?
Maybe. Yeah, they were often perceived as being a bit too lighthearted, perhaps even campy sometimes. And they didn't delve deep enough into the complex interpersonal relationships and the inherent drama that makes the team so compelling. These were early superhero films, of course, a time when the genre was still finding its footing, maybe before the MCU really solidified things. But they ultimately failed to grasp the full, nuanced essence of what made the Fantastic Four special for a broad audience. The films lean heavily into the spectacle and the more comedic elements, often it felt, at the expense of the character depth.
And then came the infamous 2015 reboot, Josh Trank's Fantastic Four.
Oof. Oof, that's right.
As many of your sources detailed, that film faced significant critical and commercial backlash. It almost felt like it highlighted everything not to do when adapting these characters.
Yeah.
From the studio's perspective, and for us as the audience, what were the fundamental missteps that contributed to its failure? And what vital lessons do you think Marvel Studios must have taken away from that particularly painful stumble?
Yeah, the 2015 film was unfortunately a stark example of how a misaligned vision can completely derail a project, especially one with such high stakes. The critical consensus was, well, overwhelmingly negative, and it was a commercial disappointment. The key lessons drawn from various post-mortem analyses you included were multifaceted. For the studios, it underscored the critical importance of a clear, consistent, creative vision from the outset, respecting the source material.
Which really didn't feel like it did.
No. And fostering genuine collaboration between director and studio rather than conflict. There were well-documented issues with reshoots, studio interference, and a tone that seemed to shift dramatically during production. It felt messy.
Definitely felt messy.
And for the audience, I think it truly solidified the understanding that the Fantastic Four isn't simply about powers or spectacle. It's about the characters, their familial relationships, and that unique blend of optimism and scientific exploration. The 2015 version was heavily criticized for its dark, gritty, and often somber tone.
So wrong for them.
Completely at odds with the team's inherently optimistic, adventurous, and hopeful spirit from the comics. It showed that straying too far from the core identity of these characters, attempting to force them into a mold that doesn't fit, can be disastrous. The narrative felt disjointed, the character motivations unclear, and that sense of family, the very heart of the team, was conspicuously absent.
Which really brings us back to why these characters are so indispensable to Marvel, both in the comics and now, seemingly, to the entire MCU. They feel like the cornerstone that's been missing all this time.
They absolutely are foundational, truly indispensable. First and foremost, they are pioneers. As you alluded to, they were the original superhero team in the Marvel Comics universe, predating many other popular heroes like Spider-Man, the X-Men, even the Avengers.
Wow, I didn't realize they were before the Avengers in the comics.
Yep. Their very existence, their stories, introduced so many fundamental cosmic and scientific elements that became crucial for expanding the entire Marvel universe. Think about concepts like the negative zone.
Right, Reed's big discovery.
Exactly. A stark antimatter dimension that Reed Richards famously discovered, brimming with strange physics and unique, often hostile life forms. Or the microverse, Vibranium, the cosmic entity Galactus, and his herald, the Silver Surfer, all tied intrinsically to the Fantastic Four's adventures. Without them, the cosmic tapestry, the very scientific bedrock of Marvel, would look vastly different. But perhaps most importantly, their core theme is one of exploration, discovery, and the human condition, often viewed through the unique lens of family relationships.
Family angle again.
Always. They're not just the superhero team. They are a familial unit facing extraordinary circumstances. And that human element, that unbreakable bond, is what makes them so enduring and essential to Marvel's storytelling DNA. They are scientists first, adventurers second, and superheroes only when absolutely necessary, which is a crucial distinction, I think.
So, okay, after these past, frankly, quite difficult attempts, what makes this new era for the Fantastic Four, this MCU reboot, feel so fundamentally different? What's giving everyone this renewed sense of hope, this belief that this time they might actually get it right? Because the energy surrounding this does feel distinct.
Well, the most crucial distinction here, as many of the sources you've provided emphasize, is that this is Marvel Studios' own Fantastic Four reboot. This isn't another studio licensing the characters.
Right, this is Phage and his team, in-house.
Exactly. This isn't Fox anymore attempting to make a quick buck or fulfill a contract. It's Kevin Feige and his incredibly successful team who have spent, over a decade now, proving their ability to build a cohesive, interconnected, and wildly successful cinematic universe. This immediately signals a deeper, more organic integration into the existing MCU, a long-term commitment, and a creative vision that aligns with the broader narrative of the ongoing multiverse saga.
So it's not just a standalone film.
Not at all. It's a vital piece of a much larger, carefully constructed puzzle, overseen by the architects of modern superhero cinema. That level of control, planning, and proven expertise is precisely what was missing from previous adaptations.
And the direction seems to be in incredibly capable hands with Matt Jackman. I mean, he's known for his critically acclaimed work on WandaVision.
Which was brilliant.
It really was. It pushed the boundaries of what a superhero story could be on television, blending genres and exploring trauma so effectively. How does his choice as director signal a particular tone or stylistic approach for the Fantastic Four, especially considering their unique blend of science, adventure, and family drama?
Shackman's involvement is a very strong, deliberate signal, as several analyses in your provided materials suggest. WandaVision demonstrated his exceptional ability to blend disparate genres, sitcom, mystery, superhero action, and execute incredibly intricate, character-driven plot lines.
He handled the shift so well.
He really did. He definitely handled complex emotional arcs, exploring themes of grief, identity, family, and the blurring lines between reality and illusion, all themes that are incredibly pertinent to the Fantastic Four. Think about the psychological impact of Ben Grimm's transformation.
Yeah, things won't be...
Or the emotional weight Sue Storm carries as the team's anchor. Shackman's approach to WandaVision wasn't just about flashy powers. It was about the interior lives of its characters, their psychological states, and how their extraordinary circumstances manifested in deeply personal ways. This stylistic choice feels ideal for capturing the Fantastic Four's unique dynamics, ensuring it's not just about cosmic spectacle, but about who these people are, how they relate to each other, and the profound, often challenging impact their powers have on their lives as a family.
So maybe less punching, more.
Well, maybe a better balance. We might see a blend of heartfelt character dynamics, a genuine sense of scientific wonder, perhaps even a touch of subtle psychological exploration as they grapple with their powers and their new reality. It indicates a clear intention to prioritize story and character over mere action set pieces.
Okay, and now for the part that has sparked immense online discussion and set the internet abuzz, the Dream Team casting. This has been a monumental driver of the online hype, hasn't it?
Oh, absolutely. The casting announcement broke the internet for a bit there.
We have Pedro Pascal as Reed Richards, Mr. Fantastic, who, let's be honest, has become something of the internet's favorite dad.
He really has. The memes alone.
Then there's Vanessa Kirby as Sue Storm, the Invisible Woman, a powerful actress taking on the emotional core and often overlooked strength of the team.
Great choice.
Joseph Quinn as Johnny Storm, the Human Torch, bringing that youthful exuberance and undeniable charm we expect. From Stranger Things.
Eddie Munson lives on, well, sort of.
Huh. And finally, Evan Moss-Bachrach as Ben Grimm, the Thing, a nuanced actor known for bringing depth to complex characters, taking on the physically transformed yet deeply empathetic Ben Grimm. This is a formidable lineup indeed.
It is indeed, and the caliber of this ensemble cast speaks volumes about Marvel Studios' intentions. Your sources rightly point to this casting as a major reason for the renewed excitement. This lineup strongly suggests a focus on profound character depth and the intricate chemistry between them, rather than merely prioritizing spectacle.
Right, these are serious actors.
Exactly. Each of these actors brings a track record of delivering nuanced, compelling performances, which is absolutely crucial for a team defined by its family drama. Consider Pedro Pascal. He has this remarkable ability to convey both immense intelligence and profound vulnerability, often through quite subtle expressions. This could infuse Reed Richards with a more accessible, empathetic dimension.
Less cold scientist.
Perhaps, allowing for a portrayal where his genius is tempered by a deep, visible care for Sue, Johnny, and Ben, making his decisions feel more grounded in familial love rather than purely scientific ambition. Vanessa Kirby's range allows her to embody Sue Storm's quiet strength, her formidable leadership, and her powerful role as the team's emotional anchor.
She's often the glue, isn't she?
Absolutely, the glue that holds them together. Joseph Quinn possesses that natural charisma and mischievous energy essential for Johnny Storm's youthful fire and impulsive nature, but also his underlying loyalty. And Evan Moss-Bachrach, a master of conveying complex emotions beneath a tough exterior.
Like in The Bear.
Exactly like in The Bear. He's perfect for the Thing's internal struggles, his longing for normalcy beneath the rocky facade, making his transformation feel genuinely tragic, yet resilient. This casting clearly indicates Marvel Studios understands that the heart of the Fantastic Four lies in these relationships, and they've chosen actors who can deliver on that promise.
And we know the scheduled release date is July 25, 2025. But what's fascinating, and something you touched on in your notes, is the sheer level of excitement and speculation, especially considering we don't even have a trailer or official first-look images yet. which are apparently expected early next year. This strategic scarcity of information seems to be fueling the hype, doesn't it? It almost makes it more potent.
It absolutely does. The absence of a trailer or even official stills has created this vacuum, as you observed, that fans eagerly fill with speculation, fan art, endless discussion.
Theories upon theories.
Exactly. This strategic scarcity of information from Marvel Studios only heightens the anticipation, turning every tiny scrap of news or leaked set photo into a major event. It keeps the conversation alive, constantly evolving, and at a fever pitch online. It's a testament to the power of anticipation and the foundational, decades-long love for these characters that the hype cycle is already so strong more than a year out from release, simply based on the casting and the studio's involvement.
It's like a masterclass in delayed gratification.
It really is, ensuring that when that first trailer finally drops, the impact will be seismic. This controlled release of information also allows fan theories to organically build, making the community feel like active participants in the narrative anticipation.
Okay, now let's move into the realm of internet theories and cultural interpretations, because this is where the fan base truly takes over and molds the narrative. First up, the fan reactions to the cast have been overwhelmingly positive, especially Pedro Pascal as Reed Richards.
Yeah, that one really landed.
Tapping into that internet's favorite dad meme.
Yeah.
How do you think this widespread public perception could infuse Reed Richards with a new, more approachable, perhaps more grounded dynamic? Moving away from some past portrayals that made him quite aloof or emotionally distant. What does this mean for the leadership style of Mr. Fantastic?
That's a fascinating observation, and one your notes specifically highlighted. The internet's favorite dad phenomenon around Pedro Pascal is incredibly significant because it immediately humanizes Reed Richards in the public consciousness. In the comics, Reed can often come across as brilliant to the point of being emotionally distant.
Almost robotic sometimes.
Yeah, detached due to his immense intellect and scientific obsession. Pascal's perceived charm, warmth, and inherent relatability from roles like Din Djarin in The Mandalorian or Joel Miller in The Last of Us could infuse Reed with a greater sense of accessibility and empathy. This might mean a leadership style for Mr. Fantastic that, while still incredibly intelligent and strategically profound, also places a stronger, more visible emphasis on the emotional well-being of his team, his family.
So a leader who actually cares, visibly.
Exactly. We could see a Reed whose genius is tempered by a deep, palpable care for Sue, Johnny, and Ben, making his decisions feel more grounded in familial love and protection rather than purely scientific ambition or intellectual curiosity. It would be a welcome evolution from past, often more stoic or even arrogant interpretations, allowing audiences to connect with Reed's humanity and the sacrifices he makes as both a leader and a family man. This portrayal could really highlight the family aspect of the first family, making their bonds truly the core of the story.
And it's not just Pascal, there's general enthusiasm for the entire ensemble, right? Fans are already envisioning the chemistry and the specific family dynamics this particular group of actors could bring to the screen. For a team known so intimately as the first family, that chemistry is absolutely paramount, isn't it? It's the beating heart of their appeal.
It is absolutely paramount. You hit on the central truth of the Fantastic Four. Their core appeal is their dynamic as a family unit, the way they bicker, support each other unconditionally, and ultimately face extraordinary threats as an unbreakable bond.
You can already picture Quinn winding up Moss Backrack.
Totally. Fans are already actively imagining how Vanessa Kirby's strong, grounded Sue will play off Pedro Pascal's potentially warmer Reed, how Joseph Quinn's charismatic Johnny will constantly annoy Eben Moss Backrack's gruff but loving Ben. This anticipation for the interpersonal chemistry is a strong indicator that audiences are looking for more than just action sequences.
We want the bickering.
We want the bickering. They want to see these relationships come to life authentically with all the love, friction, and shared history that defines a family. If this cast can truly embody that genuine family bond, portraying not just their powers but their shared history, their inside jokes, their arguments, and their unwavering loyalty, it will resonate deeply and be a significant factor in the film's success. It makes the characters feel lived in and real beyond the superheroics. This is crucial for distinguishing them from other superhero teams.
Okay, let's talk villains. This is always a hot topic in the MCU, especially now given the shifting landscape of overarching threats. Kang seems less certain now.
That's putting it mildly, yes. The future of Kang is definitely a question mark.
So the dominant speculation, of course, revolves around Doctor Doom, often rumored as the next major antagonist, potentially even stepping into a broader role in the multiverse saga. Why is Doctor Doom so essential to the Fantastic Four's narrative, and what makes him such a compelling, even inevitable choice for the MCU's next big bad?
Dr. Doom is, without question, the Fantastic Four's greatest nemesis, and indeed, one of Marvel's most iconic and complex villains, as thoroughly explored in the articles you've shared. What makes him absolutely essential to their narrative is his deeply personal, intellectual, and philosophical rivalry with Reed Richards.
The ultimate frenemies.
Pretty much. They are often portrayed as intellectual equals, brilliant scientific minds, but with fundamentally opposing philosophies. Reed represents scientific exploration for the betterment of humanity, while Doom embodies the corruption of brilliance, the thirst for absolute power, and a tragic, almost Shakespearean arrogance. He's not just a generic villain, he's Victor Von Doom, the sovereign ruler of Latveria, a scientific genius, a master sorcerer, and a powerful, deeply scarred individual with a complex backstory.
He's got layers.
So many layers. His complexity, his tragic origin, and his sheer ambition make him incredibly compelling. If he were to replace Kang as an overarching threat, he brings a unique blend of political intrigue, scientific terror, and even a touch of the mystical that could propel the multiverse saga in fascinating new directions. Unlike Kang, who is often a more abstract, time-traveling conqueror, Doom is grounded in a personal vendetta against Reed and a desire for control over all realities. His presence would immediately raise the stakes for the entire MCU, offering a villain who is both deeply personal to our heroes and cosmically significant.
But it's not just Doom that's being discussed, right? Other speculated villains like Galactus,
The World Eater,
and even their very first antagonist, the Mole Man, have been thrown into the mix. How does the choice of their initial villain dictate the scale and tone of the film, and potentially the entire saga they'll anchor?
The choice of the first villain is an incredibly strategic decision, one that sets the immediate and long-term trajectory for the Fantastic Four in the MCU. As you observed in your research, each option telegraphs a very different approach. Dr. Doom, as we've discussed, introduces an immediate layer of political intrigue, scientific rivalry, and a profound personal connection to Reed. Starting with Doom would instantly establish a high-stakes, deeply personal conflict that could quickly escalate, but it might skip some of the initial origin story beats we might expect.
Jump right into the deep end.
Exactly. Galactus, on the other hand, is a cosmic existential threat, a literal world eater, often accompanied by his herald, the Silver Surfer. Introducing him early would instantly elevate the film to a grand, universe-threatening scale, positioning the Fantastic Four as cosmic saviors right out of the gate. This would launch them directly into the larger multiverse saga conflicts.
Spanks.
Very big bang. Then there's Mole Man, who was, as you correctly noted, their very first antagonist in Fantastic Four, #1. Starting with him would provide a more classic, grounded adventure, maybe, allowing the film to establish the team's dynamics and powers, their scientific curiosity, and their initial struggles with fame and their powers before escalating to larger, more cosmic threats.
Ease them in.
Yeah, this back-to-basics approach could be very effective in reintroducing the characters organically. Each choice sends a clear message about the immediate focus and the broader role the Fantastic Four will play in the MCU's unfolding narrative. A Mole Man start could ground the family and build their reputation, while Doom or Galactus immediately catapults them into the multiverse's grand scheme with huge implications.
Speaking of the multiverse saga, there's a prevailing fan theory, one that pops up repeatedly in the online discussions you've provided, that the Fantastic Four will serve as a central anchor for it. This theory connects their inherent scientific exploration and cosmic adventures directly to the current overarching narrative of the MCU. It makes so much sense given their comic book history, doesn't it?
It's a theory with incredibly solid grounding in the source material, yeah. And it's one that Marvel Studios would be, well, wise to lean into, I think. The Fantastic Four, particularly Reed Richards, are intrinsically linked to dimensional travel, alternate realities, and cosmic phenomena in the comics.
That's kind of their whole thing.
It really is. Their scientific pursuits naturally lead them to explore the boundaries of existence, to peer into other dimensions, and to understand the fundamental forces of the universe. If the multiverse saga continues to be the central theme, then having Marvel's premier scientific explorers and cosmic adventurers at its heart provides a logical, compelling, and intellectually stimulating anchor. They possess the unique intellectual curiosity, the scientific expertise, and the inherent connection to these complex concepts that few other MCU teams truly do. They're not just reacting to multiverse threats, they're often the ones discovering or even inadvertently causing them in the comics, which offers a rich vein for storytelling.
And if they are indeed anchoring the multiverse saga, that implies their adventures could introduce the necessary cosmic elements and concepts to lead directly into future major crossover events like well, like Secret
A
Wars.
big one.
This positions them as not just a new team, but essential architects of the MCU's future narrative. What specific aspects of their comic history make them so uniquely ideal for this pivotal role?
Exactly. The Fantastic Four's comic history is absolutely replete with storylines that are tailor-made for a Secret Wars level event. Their encounters with entities like the Beyonder, their exploration of Battleworld and various iterations of Secret Wars, and Reed Richards' own unparalleled scientific brilliance in understanding, manipulating, and even accidentally creating cosmic forces.
Reed tends to break things, doesn't he?
He does have a tendency to tinker until something big happens, yes. All these elements provide a direct, compelling roadmap. They've traditionally been at the absolute forefront of reality-shaping events and cosmic cataclysms. Reed Richards has, on multiple occasions, been the one to literally save or rebuild the multiverse. Having them introduce the necessary elements, whether it's specific cosmic artifacts like the ultimate nullifier, dimensions like the negative zone that could serve as a prison or a source of power, or advanced scientific principles and technologies that facilitate interdimensional travel, would not only make narrative sense, but also provide a deep, satisfying connection to their comic book legacy. It would establish them as pivotal, not just peripheral, to the very fabric of the MCU's unfolding future. Their stories are fundamentally about pushing the boundaries of scientific knowledge and dealing with the consequences, which is the perfect thematic fit for a multiverse in crisis.
Another interesting layer here, and something clearly evident in the online discussions you curated, is how meme culture around the casting, particularly Pedro Pascal, has fostered a sense of excitement around the MCU's family dynamics.
Yeah, the memes are part of the hype machine now.
It shows a distinct shift in audience engagement, maybe, seeking not just explosive action, but also relatable character interactions, humor, and genuine emotional connection. It feels like a return to something foundational for the MCU.
It absolutely does feel like a return to form, a re-emphasis on what made the early MCU so beloved. This emphasis on family dynamics and character chemistry, amplified and celebrated by meme culture, suggests a deep desire for the MCU to return to its core strengths, balancing grand, epic narratives with intimate, compelling character relationships.
Like the first Avengers or Guardians.
Exactly. The early MCU films, particularly Iron Man, The Avengers, and Guardians of the Galaxy, excelled at this, and perhaps recent phases in their rapid expansion have focused more on world building and introducing new characters than on nurturing those foundational interpersonal bonds. The Fantastic Four, as a literal family unit, is perfectly positioned to deliver on this. Their inherent humor, Johnny's pranks on Ben, Ben's exasperation, Sue's maternal exasperation, their squabbles, their unconditional love, and their shared history all play directly into the audience's desire for relatable, character-driven storytelling that goes beyond just explosions and punching.
We want the clobber in time, but also the family dinner arguments.
Precisely. It's a clear signal that audiences are craving the emotional investment that comes from watching a family, even a superpowered one, navigate life's challenges, celebrate triumphs, and mourn losses together. This emphasis on the family aspect could be the secret ingredient that truly distinguishes this reboot.
So, okay, let's get into the analysis. After all this discussion, why might this reboot finally break the curse of previous Fantastic Four films? What's fundamentally different this time, making many of us, as you mentioned, feel genuinely hopeful?
Well, there are several compelling, interlinking reasons why this reboot stands a significantly better chance of success, many of which are highlighted in the extensive analysis you've compiled. Firstly, Kevin Feige's direct involvement and Marvel Studios' proven track record. That's huge.
He's not be overstated, right?
Cannot be overstated. Unlike previous attempts, this film will be organically woven into an existing, incredibly successful cinematic universe with established rules, a loyal audience base, and a cohesive long-term vision. This integration ensures a consistency of tone, quality control, and narrative purpose that independent studio efforts simply couldn't match. They often struggled with studio interference or just a lack of understanding of the property's core appeal.
It felt like Fox never quite got them.
That was often the feeling, yes. This isn't a standalone gamble, it's part of a grand tapestry.
That continuity and shared universe aspect is absolutely huge, isn't it? It's not just a standalone movie trying to find its footing. It's part of a fabric with built-in expectations and a pathway forward.
Precisely. It comes with the inherent trust and anticipation built over years of successful storytelling. Secondly, the high-caliber casting we just discussed, Pascal, Kirby, Quinn, Moss Backrack, and the choice of a character-driven director like Matt Shakman indicate a very strong, deliberate focus on narrative, character depth, and internal team dynamics.
Hitting all the points the old ones missed.
Exactly. These were the very elements most often cited as lacking or mishandled in previous adaptations. Marvel Studios seems to have truly understood why the previous films failed, and is actively addressing those shortcomings by investing in actors known for their ability to bring emotional nuance, and a director who can beautifully orchestrate complex, intimate character relationships within a grand genre. It shows a commitment to the heart of the Fantastic Four, not just their powers.
And the timing feels incredibly strategic too, doesn't it? It's coming after a period where the MCU has been experimenting with many new characters and different tones, maybe feeling a bit scattered for
Yeah,
some.
it's a fair assessment for some viewers, yeah.
A beloved foundational property like the Fantastic Four, arriving now, could be exactly what the franchise needs to re-energize its fan base and provide a sense of returning home.
The strategic timing is indeed a key factor. Following a phase that introduced many new characters and explored diverse storytelling approaches, the return of Marvel's first family feels like a homecoming, a recentering. It offers a sense of grounding and familiar, beloved archetypes. The brilliant scientist, the powerful woman, the hot-headed youth, the tragic strongman. This could be the perfect moment to inject renewed energy into the franchise, leveraging nostalgia while still pushing the narrative forward. It's an opportunity to remind audiences of the core magic of Marvel storytelling. Compelling characters, innovative science fiction, and profound emotional stakes, all wrapped in a family dynamic. It's a chance to recapture the imagination of an audience potentially feeling oversaturated.
But, okay, with all this immense potential and hopeful anticipation, there are always perils, right? We can't ignore the very real risks involved. The shadow of audience burnout or MCU fatigue is a very legitimate concern. Despite all this excitement, there's a lingering question of whether the market is truly oversaturated with superhero content. Can the Fantastic Four really stand out and capture new imaginations in this incredibly crowded landscape?
That's the tightrope Marvel Studios has to walk, absolutely. And it's a concern that permeates much of the commentary in your research. Audience fatigue is a legitimate, tangible concern, and the sheer volume of superhero content, both on the big and small screen, demands that each new entry truly distinguish itself.
It can't just be okay.
No. The Fantastic Four must not only be good, but exceptional, offering a fresh, compelling take on the genre while staying true to its roots. It needs to prove that there's still a unique story to tell, beyond simply being another superhero movie. It can't just rely on its name or the MCU brand. It needs to earn its place by delivering something genuinely innovative and emotionally resonant. If it simply treads familiar ground, it risks being lost in the noise.
And the expectations for this one are absolutely unprecedented. I mean, it's not just a new film. It's Marvel's first family finally getting their proper, definitive big screen debut within the MCU. The history of failed attempts, as we discussed, only amplifies these expectations, creating a kind of pressure cooker. What happens if this doesn't meet the monumental hype? What are the implications?
The pressure is immense. You can almost feel the weight of it in the fan discussions online. The Fantastic Four carries the weight of decades of comic book history, the hopes of a fan base who has waited patiently for a definitive adaptation, and the burden of past failures.
So much writing on it.
So much. If it doesn't meet this monumental hype, the implications could be significant. It could severely impact not only the perception of the Fantastic Four themselves, leading to another cycle of skepticism and disappointment, but also potentially erode broader confidence in Marvel Studios' ability to revitalize its core foundational properties. It becomes a critical test case for their strategy moving forward. The stakes are incredibly high, as the what-if scenarios of previous failures loom large over this production, making its success almost a categorical imperative for the studio.
And then there's a broader Disney and Marvel strategy under scrutiny. How will recent shifts, adjustments, and the general reevaluation of content quantity versus quality impact this film? The success of Fantastic Four could be a critical indicator for the future direction of the entire franchise. Are they leaning too heavily on nostalgia, or is there a genuine attempt to refresh the brand and move it forward?
That's a very astute point, and a question that many industry analysts, as per your sources, are asking. The Fantastic Four's performance will undoubtedly be analyzed within the broader context of Disney and Marvel's evolving strategy, especially after some recent theatrical performances that haven't quite met expectations.
Some definite underperformers lately.
Yes. It will serve as a bellwether. Does leaning into a beloved foundational property provide the necessary shot in the arm? Does it signal a return to more character-focused narratives and a re-emphasis on overarching saga planning with clear direction? Its success, or lack thereof, could influence future investment, creative decisions, and even the pace of future MCU releases. It's not just a film. It's a strategic pivot point that could define the next era of the MCU. It has to demonstrate that it's more than just a nostalgia play. It's a genuinely fresh, exciting, and essential narrative.
So, thinking about the broader impact, could this reboot mark the beginning of a new MCU phase resurgence? If successful, could it reinvigorate the entire superhero genre, setting a new benchmark for character-driven narratives within large cinematic universes?
It absolutely has the potential to be that turning point. A successful Fantastic Four could signal a powerful return to form for the MCU, demonstrating that the appetite for these stories is still voracious when they are executed with care, depth, and genuine character focus. It could re-energize the fan base, not just for the Fantastic Four, but for the entire MCU, and, more broadly, reinvigorate the entire superhero genre by setting a new standard for how to balance spectacle with profound storytelling and rich character development.
Maybe show other studios how it's done.
Potentially.
Mm.
It could inspire other studios to prioritize quality and character over sheer quantity and brand recognition alone. It could prove that the genre isn't exhausted, but merely evolving.
And beyond that, what does this mean for the very evolution of the superhero genre itself, if this lands perfectly?
Well, the Fantastic Four's success, or conversely, its failure, will inevitably influence future decisions in superhero filmmaking across the board. If it succeeds by leaning into its unique family dynamics, scientific exploration, and character depth, it could strongly reinforce the idea that studios need to prioritize strong, nuanced character writing, unique storytelling approaches, and compelling internal team dynamics, rather than just relying on ever-increasing interchangeable spectacle.
Less CGI fests, more heart.
Something like that. It would prove that audiences are hungry for stories that resonate emotionally and intellectually, showing that there's still a huge appetite for these narratives when they are crafted thoughtfully and done right. It's a chance to demonstrate that the genre can continue to evolve, deepen, and surprise us, moving beyond formula to truly explore the human condition through extraordinary lenses.
So as we eagerly await that first trailer, probably dissecting every frame when it drops,
Oh, you know we will be.
it's clear the Fantastic Four isn't just another superhero movie. It's a cultural touchstone. It represents both Marvel's past and, well, a potentially bright new future for them. Whether it lives up to the monumental hype remains to be seen, but one thing's for sure. The conversation around Marvel's first family is only just beginning, and we'll definitely be here to unpack it all as it unfolds. For you, the listener, we hope this discussion gives you a clearer, more insightful understanding of why this particular film holds so much weight in pop culture today, and perhaps encourages you to revisit some of those classic Fantastic Four comic runs. There's some great stuff in there.
Absolutely essential reading.
Next time on Trending Unpacked, we're diving into a very different kind of trending story, the online buzz about Black Cat Boyfriend. You won't want to miss it.